Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording / live stream of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, November 25th, Black Friday, as it is known in the United States. Lots of shopping that people push, stores push on you, lots of sales. In general, a lot of these sales are not worth it. We've got a decent amount of things to do today. Challenge a friend for 80, don't want to trade that. Win 7 games and get 100 gold, don't want to change that. So we have one person who's battling right now. And what I think we'll do, because this is what I ended up having to do yesterday, Wednesday, during the Watch and Learn quest, is I'm going to just play some Murloc players, and after each person I'm gonna send them a friend request, and if they accept my friend request, then I'll give them a friendly challenge to random people, unless some of my current fans want to hop on right now and play and get 80 gold. The main goal here is to not stop the flow of progress. We need to get all of the things done so I have a nice weekend to finish out. I've done my holiday shopping and spent way too much money, particularly way too much money on Legos, but a lot of Raspberry Pi purchases too happening, so I'm having 2 obsessions right now that are happening, and there's a decent amount of news to talk about too, plus the Steam sale. As far as the Steam sale goes, the autumn sale, I'm probably not going to purchase any games at all. The Steam link is 90% off, so it's like $5, but then you still end up paying another up to $12, I think, for shipping and handling. So even if the Steam link is free and you have to pay a lot of shipping and handling for it, it's not a good deal to buy it actually from Valve. Perhaps sometime throughout next year, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Steam link very cheaply sold on Amazon with free shipping as an add-on item or something like that. And then maybe at that point I'd get a couple of them. But the shipping is still too expensive for a device that's a little bit of a weird thing. Let's see. First bit of no, I wanted to say, though the autumn sale is here, one of my fans did bring up the idea that he was going to buy me a game or donate to my channel in some way, and I would say people should, if they were going to do anything, if they get extra Steam keys, they direct message those to me via Twitter, if they want to donate those to me, or if they are in the middle of shopping on Valve's website, if they friend me, they can go to my profile, and then there's a button that is on my profile that says like 1,600 games wishlisted. If you look at that wish list, there's a lot of games that vary in size, from the brand new $60 games to a lot more that are just 99 cents or somewhere closer to 99 cents. And if you friend me, you should be able to buy those games while they're on sale as a gift and donate them if you want to donate that way. But I'm not particularly super interested in trying to be a sellout, so now would be the time, like during the autumn sale, during the winter sale, during the October sale, and during the summer sale. Those would be the times to donate to me if you want to do it that way. And by picking what games you give me, you influence me to play those games, at the very least do a spotlight for them. And I should be able to notice if I get a game that I didn't personally purchase and put that at the top of the line as far as what I should play. Like, I know people have asked me about certain games, like Bomber Crew is a brand new game somebody asked me about, and they want me to do the Evil Within, which I don't even own the first game, let alone Evil Within 2. Those are games I want to play, they've just not been high priority. On the other hand, though, if people are just gonna ask me to play games and not support me, then they shouldn't be surprised when I don't spend extra money or an extra budget that could buy me several other games cheaper. There's a Steam database site that lets you use a plugin to look at your specific wishlisted items and see how much they're off and if they're a good deal, and just kind of sort better. I'm going to start using that website to try to make some better decisions. But right now I'm imagining I'm not going to buy anything for the autumn sale. Maybe in the winter sale there will be something that I do. But I did participate in their frankly lackluster interaction this time. Like there's no trading cards at all being focused on this sale, so you don't get any trading cards. You instead just get a badge for nominating things, and that's it. You get like the stage 1 badge for making 1 nomination, stage 2 badge for making like 3 nominations for games of certain awards, and the awards that Steam made up are ridiculous, unimportant awards. I thought when they introduced that last year they would be more respectable, and it would be like, what's the best sports game of the year? What's the best action game? What's the best first-person shooter? But it's nothing like that. It's ridiculous, ambiguous selections that last year ended up with just the most popular games getting awards for things that they didn't even really deserve to win for, and I imagine that's the same. But I went through and selected and nominated things that I had played this year, regardless of if the game came out that year or not. Get this one for 4. Darn it. So there's a modern magic text adventure called Thaumistry, T-H-A-U-M-I-S-T-R-Y. That's the PC Gamers is advertising. If it really is a text-based adventure, though, which it seems like for the most part it is, like, I don't see how you could play a game like that. Like, Zork is the most well-known text-based adventure game, and yeah, it's simply just not something that you would want to play unless you have a lot of nostalgia for text-based adventures, which I don't. I didn't have PCs that early into their release. Like, I'm more of an NES generation. I have nostalgia for Super Mario Brothers, not any of the Ataris or the first generation of video games or first generation of PC gamers. Like, the PC games that I might have nostalgia for are Doom and Wolfenstein, Commander Keen, all of which are made by the same company. There's like Hugo's House of Horror was sort of a text-based adventure, but it had graphics. And nowadays when you say text-based adventure, you mean there's practically no graphics or no graphics at all. So PC Gamers has the week's highs and lows in PC gaming, which is their recap series. Let's see if there's anything here really worth talking about. No, not really. I usually don't talk about that. This in the turn. GTA Online has in-game Black Friday sales. I don't know why you would want to buy in-game DLC elements for GTA Online, but it seems like the vehicles and buildings and yeah, vehicles and buildings seem to be about all they sell. I don't know why you'd want to play GTA Online at all. There is a Black Friday deal on Amazon where you can get a blue blackout Yeti which is a microphone with Assassin's Creed Origins. And so if you wanted a Yeti microphone, which is what I use to stream, or just to have a really good microphone in front of you, I will warn that if you are going to use a microphone like this, you will have to have it on a table, or you will have to buy a standard microphone stand, which the Blue Yeti screws into, because it is not a handheld microphone. In fact, the Blue Yetis are not standard width at all. They're about 2 or 3 times as wide as a standard microphone. But otherwise, they really don't have any problem with them. They're good quality for what you get. And you'd get Assassin's Creed Origins, which sadly isn't as good quality as you would like. So you go here, click this, hit enter, send that friend request. Wait a second and see if they accept the friend request. So even if you weren't going to stream, this is a decent deal, because you could almost certainly find or turn around and sell the Blue Yeti microphone to somebody for the price of close to $92, which is what it's selling for. The only issue I personally have is that I've already spent a lot of money and I don't see how I could convince somebody else to buy me a second microphone that I don't really need. We gave them enough time. A backup microphone wouldn't be a terrible idea, but it's also a little unnecessary. The next stage of evolution for my sound equipment setup would be to try to have a actual soundboard, something where I could adjust the audio, the volume, and audio out to the headphones a little bit more. But if you did introduce a soundboard into a system like this that plugged into a computer, you're also going to have a lot of other issues that are going to pop up. The level of compatibility with these technologies isn't great, so staying with the Blue Yeti is a very appealing thing. You would need a soundboard, particularly if you're going to try to have other people talk. When you have more than one person talk, then it becomes a nightmare. Then there's a lot more work that needs to be done. The remake of the Black Mirror has got a new trailer out. I'm watching it right now, and before I even see the first scene, it looks more cartoony than I thought it was going to be. I thought they were going to go with a full realistic 3D animation of the people, and instead it's more of a, oh, I don't know how you'd put this. What would be the low quality, low polygon count, I suppose. It looks like a remake of Alone in the Dark, which was a really low polygon early 3D game. It's better than that, but it's not The Witcher 3. It's not Tomb Raider. level. It's not something you would expect for a 2017 game. Now, as for the Black Mirror game, it does to me look like they're remaking it and adding more elements, changing the characters around. The character from Black Mirror 1 doesn't seem like he's even gonna be a part of the scenario, because I didn't see any character that looked like that. There is some more familiar characters, but then the other familiar characters are missing, and there are new characters that are added. So I expect it is a reboot, more than a remake, and hopefully it's a little bit better of a game than what the Black Mirror 1 was. Right now, Black Mirror 1 is airing on my channel, and it's long. It was a long and boring game with too much dialogue, too much talk, not enough action, not enough puzzles. There's barely 5 puzzles in what is like a 20-hour game. A Australian gambling analyst says loot boxes constitute gambling. But there's been no ruling in Australia. Australian, yeah. If there is any country that you could almost guarantee will crack down on loot boxes and gambling, besides China, which already has, in a little bit, Australia is a good one, because they certainly are very mean and constrictive to video games. But there's several countries all around the world that are looking at this now, and they are definitely going to start putting down some rules. DJ Max respects DLC called Classic Packs, CLAZZIQUAI. I assume that's supposed to be pronounced Classic Pack, is launching winter 2017 in Asia. I don't even know if DJ Max, though, is available in the West at all. I'm watching the trailer for this, and it's without the audio. It really doesn't mean much of anything. Let's see. Job's done. So, I kind of wish there was more of a music game that came out, and we didn't have a huge fad like Rock Band or Rockstar, but I wish there was one game that came out at least once a year that either got updates or patches. Particularly something that's just not going to put the exact same pop music over and over again and trying to push something new and interesting. That was a problem I kind of had with a lot of the releases in Rock Band, is that it was just pop music that people had already heard a million times over. And I imagine something on the Switch will eventually come out. Speaking of which, I follow a YouTube channel called Censored Gaming, and they cover games that games and other things that are censored from Japan to the rest of the countries for the most part. And he's done a couple of videos recently talking about how some games from outside of Japan was censored in Japan. Mostly it was a focus on how, like, a lot of game characters are either redrawn to be more cutesy. Crash Bandicoot, for instance, was redrawn in Japan to be more cutesy, or they were instead of having cartoony 3 fingers, and a thumb on their hand. They redraw them so that they redrawn so that they have 4 fingers in the hand, and so it looks like they always had 4 fingers like a normal human. But there was also one they did recently where a very unheard of match music game called Princess on Ice was released in Japan with cutesy anime ice skating girls, and then it was released in Europe with every single character in the game redrawn, just to be a completely different art style. They took out all of the girls and redrew them all, which it's really a lot of work for what I would argue would have been very little reward to do that. And it kind of goes to show that some Japanese companies will, or some companies in general will just make giant changes to games, particularly if nobody cares and nobody's going to complain about it, since this was just a kid's game, just to put their 2 cents in. So I'd highly recommend people look up Censored Gaming on YouTube and watch their latest video about Princess on Ice. Like, nobody cares about that game, but it seems so crazy to redraw so much of it for something that probably will barely sell 1,000 copies anyways. Hey, let's see. They're trying to give this... They're trying to get this one as much health as possible, I imagine. Aw, darn it. I'm just gonna end the turn here. There's a mod out there for Classic Doom that replaces weapon pickups with loot boxes. I want to see if it actually is charging you. It's clearly just a joke, though. That nobody would really want to put this mod in the game. Let's see. It says the mod also adds in-game store selling both keys and crates by bundles of 10 for best value, but alas the store servers are offline. Which I assume this is a joke. I assume nobody's gonna try to really make money out of that. How in the world did they kill all my things? I had them on stealth and he still found a way to kill all my characters. Oh, that is irritating.
My hand is too full.
Bandai Namco has a new title countdown website featuring a microwave and an egg. Which don't microwave eggs because that won't work. The URL on the website contains the text MHAOJ, the beginning which might stand for My Hero Academia. The egg in the microwave may also be a reference to a scene in My Hero Academia. So I guess that would make sense. Says 10 days left on the website. So I have no real interest in My Hero Academia game, but they are, I suppose, doing their job to get people interested in that. Let's add this person as the new friend. And clearly I understand nobody's on the chat. Nobody's going to be watching today. It's the day, it's Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. People just want to take a break. I said it Wednesday that the 2 days that I'm gonna really understand when nobody's watching is gonna be Wednesday and Friday of this week. Although that being said, I think my Wednesday stream actually did get quite a few views, more than I would have thought it deserved, honestly. But yeah, there's. I would have assumed people were doing other things, but maybe people want breaks from their family, and maybe people just want to watch a live stream to get some things, get some different kind of entertainment out there. I wasn't going to break up my daily pre-recorded schedules or anything for Thanksgiving week, so there's definitely footage and pre-recorded footage that if people are watching those series and they miss this week, they'll have to go back and get it. Well, I gave that one enough of a chance too. I don't think I've gotten a victory yet, so getting 7 victories may be something that falls right into the post-show too. And I know I started late today.
For Doomhammer.
I suppose the funniest part about my Thanksgiving was that in order to be awake to eat Thanksgiving meal lunch at a decent time, around noon or 1 in the afternoon, I'd stayed up 24 hours before then, so I woke up around noon or 1 the day before, and I just stayed awake for the whole time, and it was probably about 36 hours straight of not sleeping before I finally had eaten Thanksgiving meal and finally gotten an opportunity to go back to sleep. And then I woke up again around midnight to start doing the midnight turnover to the Black Friday sales. Let's see. According to this news article, Super Robot Wars is coming December 11th. This is a Gametsu article, so is it coming to the West, and is it coming to what issues? Man, there's no details at all. And this has been updated. Even as an updated article, there's still no information on it. Yeah, it was released by Bandai Namco Southeast Asia, but yeah, there's no information. So that's the not news type of news. A game called Shinobi Koi Atsusu Banka Ai Imakai has been announced for PS4. Now the Shinobi part, if I'm not mistaken, means ninja. So it's a specific nature. It includes both PS Vita titles and an additional scenario. So this is probably, if I was to guess, a visual novel. The super excessive ninja madly in love adventure games is how it's described. It's gonna launch February 15th in Japan, PS4 Pro support. Interesting that they're gonna say that. 9,200 yen. And let's just visit the gallery and see these images. Come on. Also, let's play. Do this. And this. So it looks like it's a bunch of ninja guys that you're talking to, so it's a visual novel romance game, I would guess, for people into guys. But no real other information. I've already talked about Battle Chef Brigade, but it certainly is catching my attention. It certainly had caught my attention when it first was announced in like a pre-order, pre-release sense. But it seems like it has maintained its quality. Nothing actually incredibly new about it compared to what I had seen before, but still very interesting. Here's a story from Your Gamer, how Final Fantasy's biggest failure changed the series for the better, which is just an interview with one of the creators. Let's see if we can skim this down into something interesting or a single statement. Nope, can't really do that. So this probably shouldn't have done that as the first move, because that was gonna happen.
Job's done.
Let's see. There's a Gama Sutra article, how economic downturn shaped games throughout the history. And apparently this was part of a speech that was given at GDC 2018. Or, well, I guess it's a speech that's going to be presented at the Game Developers Conference in 2018. Yeah. So this is literally a news report about a speech that hasn't even happened yet. Wow. Well, because it is Thanksgiving week, I imagine there was just not a lot to talk about. Let's discover a secret. Noble sacrifice. Play that. Kill that.
Job's done.
Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus for PC launches December 8th. It's PC version. It will be on Steam in North America and Europe of the PlayStation 4 game. 40 hours of action RPG gameplay. Explore Brave New World. And it looks like a 3D action RPG style game set in the standard Japanese school, high school, at least in part. Can't get away from that even if you want to. Let's see. Let's do this and see if we can burn some of his cards. +3 attack. There we go. Get rid of that. And use that. Do that. That. And that. And victory. So yeah, I haven't ever heard of the Tokyo Xanadu series, but it might be a decent one. It seems like there was effort at least put into the animation somewhat. Hatsune Miku Project Diva Future Tone DLC Extra Encore Pack will launch December 14th. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I want Hatsune Miku to actually come and be a bigger deal than it actually is right now. It's coming out for America, Europe, and Japan. So Hatsune Miku Project Diva is out, but I'm not sure if it's out for PC or if it's only out for like PlayStation. It says here PlayStation 4 Pro support, so I imagine that's it. And for that DLC, you're getting 2 new songs and 2 new models and an updated photo mode. So you're not even getting a significant amount of things. And that might be a big part of the problem with Hatsune Miku and other Japanese games like that, is that they want to charge Japanese prices in a world that won't accept paying Japanese prices. Let's see, how much was this? $8 for 2 songs, 2 models, and an updated photo mode. That's not realistic, and that explains why it's not big throughout the world. I suppose slightly sad news, I never got to the Gwent single player game. It was an interesting idea, but it clearly hasn't become the new big fad. However, that being said, their single player expansion campaign, Thronebreaker, has been delayed to 2018. And imagine just for a second if any Hearthstone expansion was delayed by really any significant amount of time. Like, it would be completely unacceptable. Here we go. We've won. Like, and if a Hearthstone campaign was significantly delayed with no exact date, I don't think people would stay with Hearthstone for very long. So that's one victory. The first of 6 other victories that need to happen. And I don't even know if I should take a moment to see if somebody will accept or not. I probably should just move forward. There's an adventure game where your partner is a talking dog and you're hunting Jack the Ripper. It's a Kickstarter game called Duloc and Frey Dance of Death. Let's watch this thing. This trailer video. And see, the weird thing here is the animation style here is not super realistic, but it still looks, I would say, at least 1 generation or maybe even 2 generations better than the Black Mirror reboot that is being made by THQ Nordic. And this is exactly what I'm afraid of and don't want to see happen to THQ Nordic, is that they go on this binge that they've been on, hiring and buying back companies that used to be part of THQ, and quality just falls and falls and falls. Like, Darksiders 3 is now listed on Steam. You can't buy it or pre-order it or anything, but it's now listed. And if by the time that game is out, why does this just say your opponent, I wonder? By the time Darksiders 3 comes out, it turns out that THQ Nordic has just used all of their income and all of their budget, and they can't make a good looking game, that's not gonna be helpful. I don't want to see a bad Darksiders 3 come out. And there's some scary things about Darksiders 3 already. The whip technology and the attack looks like it might be very boring and repetitive to use. So if it's not a fast, smooth action in that action game, that's not going to be good. Duloc and Faye is asking $53,000 and $22. That's oddly specific. But the graphics do look good. I would never say kickstart a game, but this one actually looks like it might get made. But odds are always rather low. do this. A game called Finding Paradise, which looks like an RPG Maker game. To the Moon 2. It might be the sequel to the Moon. Yeah, and To the Moon was also an RPG Maker style game. Let's see if we just get the date, because I'm not interested in it. It's listed on Steam right now. If I play this, I won't do anything really. So when is this release date they talked about on this? Well, this article swears there was a release date listed here, and now looking throughout all the article, there's not even a release date mentioned. Maybe if we go to the Steam website, we'll see when it just says coming soon. Well, fine, forget that. I'm not interested enough in that game to move forward. I think we may burn through the news a little bit quicker than I thought we would, because a lot of this stuff that I've talked about isn't even that important. Here's a game that's apparently you invade parody films in a 2D platformer called Epic Loon. Let's see what this is. Like, I don't know what that means per se. What kind of parody films? Are they going to be parodies of like really old films? Well, the menu is live action of somebody sitting in front of a TV in a dump of a place, and they hit play, and then it zooms in on the TV, and man, this video is taking forever to show anything. Like, this video is halfway through and they're still on the menu. It seems like you're selecting some grotesque creature, like a version of... Okay, and then it zooms in on the VCR on the top of it, and it's showing Frankenstein, Jurassic Park, and Godzilla, and Alien. Well, Nosferatu. So there's like 3 parodies of 3 different, somewhat classic, but of different times even. It's not Frankenstein, it's Dracula. So he chose, I think, Godzilla, and now you're doing like Super Meat Boy style platforming, it seems like, in a world that has Godzilla as the background and the platforms. And now they're showing off Jurassic Park, and it seems like there might be a rewinding element So while the movie is playing as a background and platform element, you're rewinding and fast forwarding things. So some interesting ideas there, but not really. Like, just the fact that that depiction took forever to show me almost nothing. That tells me that they probably don't have what it takes to make a good game. And it didn't seem like it was that good. Let's see, it's supposed to come out by the end of 2017, so we'll see in a few months, I guess. A month and a half at this point. Let's see. Ark Survival Evolved's next paid for expansion, Aberration, finally has a release date. So, is Ark Survival Evolved actually out of what is it called? Is it finally out of beta? I guess it is. The article says it should prove to be marginally less controversial than the predecessor because it should actually be out of beta now. Let's see. Discover Murloc. Take another one of these guys. Do this. And let's do this.
Job's done.
There we go. There was a short point there where Ark Survival Evolved looked like it might get big enough that it would eventually force me to play it, even though I had no interest in it. But at this point they've caused enough drama in the next conflict that I'm not really interested in that. Let's see. And add friends. Apparently I can't even send a friend request to him. Well, we've already gone 45 minutes, but I don't even want to break it up because I think we're going to be done so relatively quickly here. There's an article talking about a game I don't think that's actually came out recently. It's called Outcast Second Contact, which is the sequel to who made a Kickstarter in 2014, which maybe that's what Second Contact is. I don't know, this game actually does kind of look like it might be one of those not AAA title games, but a title game, something that had small potential of not being an indie per se, but not being a AAA, so like a AA might be a good way to describe it too. Like, indies have gotten so good that it's really come down to a point where you can't have anything other than the fanciest, most amazing looking looking games come from big developers. Apparently it was a cult classic. It's rated very positive, so you know what? I'll add it to my wish list. I think Outcast Second Impact might be one of those rare games where that would push me back to finding out, like find the first game and see if that was worth playing. Maybe Outcast, the original Outcast, is not even on Steam. Let's see if that's the case. There's a game called Outcast 1.1, and either my new plugin has changed how Steam works, or Steam has changed how Steam works, because there's now more things, and this has caught my attention. Like, there's more things on the Steam page. Let me zoom in and see what it's saying. 150% times bigger. Like, so now it says recent reviews very positive, 93% of the 15 views. All reviews very positive. 95% of 341 reviews. Steam rating is 86.01%. I have no idea what a Steam rating is. That's new. And then release date, and then there's Depot's update, which this is part of the Steam database plugin, and it says that the last Depot's update was November 19th, 2015, 737 days ago, and that's all in red with a caution sign next to it. So I don't know if that means that there's no more development on it and that's what it's trying to warn me of, or what. But I suppose that would be very helpful to have this Steam database plugin come in and warn me of games that no longer have any development on them. Not that that would really stop me. There's another Kickstarter game called A Near Dawn, a visual adventure game. That, let's see, they're asking a very small amount of $8,500 for this game. The graphics have a unique Western art style, which, okay, not my favorite by default to see art styles like this, but we could certainly do for more exposure to having more games drawn that way versus what we normally typically get is either very realistic and very standardized art styles in the West and very anime art styles in Japan and the East. This feels kind of like a webcomic art style, but it is a visual adventure game. It's not really what I would describe this as. This is a visual novel. So it may already be done though if he's only asking for a few $1,000s. One would assume that that's being used to just, I don't even know what it's being used for. Actually, come to think of it, like if it only costs $100 to to put a game on Steam now with Steam Direct, and if the game seems like it's already done, a few $1,000s what get you what, maybe a voice actor, to pay one of your friends to be a voice actor for a few weeks. Maybe, I mean, you're not going to really do any kind of advertisement campaign on less than $10,000. Not that nothing that would catch anybody's attention. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Yeah. So mostly, I bet they just want the money, and that is slightly concerning. If somebody is literally just looking to make a few $1,000s on the game. But I must always say, like I say, it's just I don't recommend anybody ever buy a Kickstarter game or fund a Kickstarter game. Here's a Rock Paper Shotgun article asking, when is it okay to remake a classic? As long as there hasn't been a remake in the past 4 years would be my answer to that. Like, you can remake games over and over again as long as you have at least a 4-year gap in as long as there's something significant and different you can do with it. I suppose if you remade something from 2013 today, it might not look much different, and I'm not sure if you need to, at that point, even really remake it. You might just be able to patch the old game, put in new textures. And that didn't work as well as I would have liked. Let's just end that right there. There's a lot of old games that could be remade, but you kind of also have to have a level of nostalgia for them, too. Like, there really is no reason to remake some game that nobody remembers. Even like Metroid 1 is probably a great example of a game that you could remake a Metroid 1, or you can just continue the series. And if you make a remake of Metroid 1, it's going to be pretty boring. You could improve the graphics, certainly, but if all the items have to be in the same place and everything else has to be exactly where it was, that's going to be pretty dull. This one, and this one, and this one, and this. So here's a few things by Rock Paper Shotgun that were on sale for Black Friday on Steam or other places. Prey. Sure, I'd get Prey. Tacoma. Sure, I'd play that. Nier Automata. Even though Nier Automata still doesn't have a patch 8 months into it, I still want that game. What Remains of Edith Finch. Night in the Woods. Not particularly interested in that, but I would certainly cover it. XCOM 2. I'll take it, but that would be like one of the lowest games I would play because it's just too long of a series, the XCOM games. Honestly though, I'd take everything here. I mean, it'd have to be a pretty awful game for me to not play it at all, particularly if I got it free. Stories Untold, another one. Deadly Premonition is only $2, and if I didn't already have it, I would get it. And I keep trying to add friends, and this is what I had to do. Just add people at random and see if anybody will accept. Until somebody does. I think we've already talked about it. About Galgun 2 launches spring 2018 in the West. So I guess the only real thing to mention there is that yes, now we know it is coming out in the West, which we probably already knew. I'm really trying to think, is there any way you could censor Galgun a little bit and get it down to the point where you could introduce it to a teen or preteen level and it not be inappropriate?
Job done.
I don't think so. No, I think it revolves around putting anime girls in their underwear too much. That you could do anything there. You could change all of it, and oddly, Galgun might actually come to the Switch, but it's gonna be TV. It's gonna be rated M for mature, definitely, or at least teen plus. And you could have an Unreal Gun shooter like Splatoon, and have a Splatoon spin-off where you're shooting water guns at something besides girls. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like that. That would be very smart of Nintendo to say, we've made Splatoon 1, we've made Splatoon 2, let's make a Splatoon spin-off while we're working on Splatoon 3. Or ideally right now they should be improving on a few things on Splatoon 2, where you're just riding in some kind of cart, some kind of car and shooting. Pokemon Snap is technically, I would say, an on-rail shooter. The only difference is you're on a rail shooting pictures instead of shooting guns. And a new Pokemon Snap wouldn't be a terrible idea. I'm surprised that they haven't done that already, honestly. Let's see. Let's go ahead and kill this guy. I suppose I'm also trying to figure out if I could get away with playing Galgun on YouTube without getting demonetized. And the answer probably is no to that too.
We have many secrets.
Let's see. To the Moon, Finding Paradise is coming out December 14th. They updated the article apparently. Let's see. There's an article by Kotaku talking about the design of two of the Persona characters. How did I get to a Kotaku article, since I don't follow them? For reasons. But either way, I'm not interested in that. And then there's a job listing, and then there's the Humble Store, and there's only 3 bundles left on the Humble Bundle Store, which makes me think that this really is going to be the end of it as far as Humble Bundles. They're gonna stop doing that, it seems. 2 plus that plus that. There we go. So Remedy Entertainment is hiring a senior AI programmer in Espoo, Finland, ESPOO. Remedy is working on 2 very different games as well as its own Northlight engine and tools technology. So if you want a place to work with state-of-the-art AI systems and help us take our tech to the next level, we are the right place for you. So it's worth pointing out in job listings that AI does not mean real AI in the forms of you would be working with the likes of Google or maybe some major government that is trying to make artificial intelligence for experimental laboratory reasons. AI in video games is a dumbed down mechanic to make the characters seem lifelike while doing a very limited number of actions and a very limited number of processing. Continuing with the description, while working with the senior AI program, you will be working with highly passionate team members to bring NPCs alive by extending Remedy's new game AI technology. This will involve working with both the core game AI technology and the game-specific layer. You will be working with other AI programmers and designers using and extending behavior trees, spatial queries, navigation meshes, and sensory systems. So behavior trees are lists of things a character is going to do. Spatial queries are what the character can see, the AI can see or not. Navigation meshes are how is he going to walk from point A to point B, and sensory systems might be besides seeing, hearing, and some other interactions. So is there an alarm going off, say in a stealth game, because they might act a different way if an alarm is going off versus if one isn't. Notice that in the description you'll be working with highly passionate team members. Tells you one of 2 things: either the people you'll be working with are hard to get along with, or they expect this to be a video game developing cult, like so many of them, so many listings seem to imply that they are super focused around the idea of we're not just co-workers, we're a family. You're going to be living there for most of your life, so because we're going to overwork you so much. Should have played this. Anyways. Responsibilities. Take ownership of game AI systems and drive them to final quality. That seems odd that you're going to be the senior AI programmer. So you're going to be in charge, I guess. And take ownership of something you didn't start development on. Which means it's probably a mess of code, and they want you to take the blame when it doesn't run well too. Like, the idea of taking ownership of some other person's code, to me, as somebody who was trained as a programmer, does not sit well at all. Like, that just seems like a bad idea. Here's another issue I've been having. Like, I have not been able to challenge and spectate some people. Some people don't have the spectate option enabled, and that's a little annoying, particularly when that's the only thing you need to do is challenge somebody or spectate somebody. You need to help designers to create and maintain behavior trees and environment queries using custom-made tools. Ew. Custom-made tools does not sound good, but in all honesty, you probably would end up doing that in any AI programming language, because it's not like there's a lot of standards out there. Or there probably are too many standards out there. They want you to create and maintain workflows for game-specific AI features such as combat spawning and role-controlled group behavior. doesn't seem like you're really programming anything friendly here. It seems like they have a specific desire to make like troopers or guards. It doesn't seem like there's any AIs for language communication, understanding, deconstruction of audio or text input. Qualifications that you need to be a senior AI programmer. This is going to be actually quite funny. At least one ship title in game AI or gameplay. Solid in C++. So your qualification must be that you are solid in C++. Not any years, not a degree, or any education in it. You just have to be solid in it. Heck, I could say I'm solid in C++. Excellent verbal and written communication skills in English. They have English in brackets. That's interesting. But you see this listing every job. Excellent written and verbal communication skills. Because the last thing they want is for you to be a person who does not communicate well, who writes nasty emails, who gets into arguments, who says rude things. Which, I suppose if you're on the autism spectrum, you practically are not qualified for any job ever, because that would be the one thing you can't honestly claim, is that you have excellent written and verbal communication. And not just autistic people, but lots of people who have disabilities are not going to have that, be able to match up there. So any kind of disability, even if it's a personality disability, is being eliminated based on that requirement. They want you to have for qualification, passion for playing and developing exceptional games, and the ability to collaborate and work with a range of disciplines from art to design. What is in it for you? That is a very hard way to phrase that in a job description. Yes, you get to move to Finland where the quality of life is acceptable and the cost of living is affordable. Moving to a new country can be intimidating. I would not recommend moving to a new country for a job. It sounds like an interesting adventure, but you're gonna be isolated so badly. Moving to a new country can be intimidating, but our relocation service is there every step of the way to take care of you. You can concentrate on work and we'll take care of everything. I'm not sure if it's Finland, but one of the European countries has a bad problem of people being exploited and smuggled to their country for large amounts of money, and people get their passports stolen from them, and they're basically slaves in a modern first world country. Let's see. You will be offered competitive compensation with a bonus system. We work hard, but at Remedy we also believe in great life balance. Happy people work better. In Finland you get up to 5 weeks of paid vacation every year. I think probably in Finland you're probably legally required to get more paid vacation than you'd say get in the United States, which has one of the lowest amounts of mandatory paid vacation, if any mandatory paid vacation at all. This is on top of public holidays and other special occasions. There we go. So now we have done the one thing. Now I just need to get 5 more victories. Let's keep it interesting and just move over to the European side now. Let's see. And above all, you get to work with an awesome, unique video games that the global audience is interested in at a studio where your input is valued. We try our hardest to keep our team sizes and the workload sensible so you can contribute. Your contributions feel valuable. What did I do that ended up giving me only 2 daily quests on this one? See, do I want to play Major Shaman or Droid and Rogue? Let's trade this. Yep, now we need to play Rogue. That'll work. But before we do that, let's come over here and open this pack. And I might be to the point where on my European account that a pack like that will be completely dusted. 3 of the cards, it seems like, were. But we're getting down to a level where we almost have all of the commons and rares in duplicate. Or we're approaching that. But the epics and the... what are the others? The epics and the legendaries, still for classic cards, are still a big issue. Final thing the job listing says is, if you're interested, please apply now. This position will be filled as soon as a suitable applicant can be found. Interesting. Well, this listing does seem kind of cultish, and it doesn't look too bad, and it's not really asking for a bunch of crazy things. There's no mention at all here for any level of education. Like, you don't even, according to this, need a bachelor's degree in college. Oh, well, I suppose since there was no indication, you don't even need a high school diploma. So I'm looking at Remedy's games right now. Remedy made Quantum Break. So Quantum Break was not super focused on making games. They also made Alan Wake and Max Payne and Death Rally, so it seems a little odd that they would be hiring, considering they are they're not, in my mind, highly likely to even avoid being shut down from Microsoft. I guess maybe Microsoft doesn't fully own Remedy. There's a Crossfire 2 story mode game I've never heard of, and a codename P7. And so P7 is Project 7, and that's probably what they're working on with 505 Games, which might be the same company or a subdivision.
Here we go.
Let's see, they're hiring right now for all kinds of things. They're hiring for every single type of person. They're trying to grow very, very large. I don't know. I don't know if you'd want to work with Remedy or not. Like, this might be a good opportunity for them to hire, for you to get in on the ground floor of a second generation of Remedy Entertainment, and they might come out and make something better than Quantum Break. Or maybe not. They kind of have a list of shooter games that aren't quite great. Like they don't ever catch the attention. I think in a lot of ways they're playing in a field that they don't have a good chance of catching people's attention because they're just making dramatic shooters, cinematic shooters that too many other people already make cinematic shooters. Let's see.
If you're sure.
And now I'm back to my Twitter, and I just want to see if there's any new news. I bet there isn't. Like, everybody's taking it easy. Nobody on the chat. No surprise. I probably need to stop doing that to stop just saying out loud that nobody's on the chat. Or maybe I continue to do that. Maybe that will get people to hop on the chat. So yeah, I think we're good with news. So I did want to take a moment, and I think we'll probably just play one game. One game on the European account, and then move over to the Asian account to show off what we need to do on those two. I did want to take a moment to read out and say what the awards are for and what I chose for the Steam. What are these Steam nominations for the Steam Awards, which suck. It's a shame that there aren't some really good awards out there. Like the Video Game Awards or the Game Awards are owned by a company that makes video games, so like there's like clearly a conflict of interest in them. Steam Awards kind of have a conflict of interest too, in that Valve games, since they make games, might win their own awards. So one would hope that they would say, no, you can't nominate a Valve game, but I'm pretty sure I did last year when they started this. So the first award category is the world is grim enough, let's just all get along award. And let's see.
We must cleanse the
And
Sunwell.
in general, I can't make the font any bigger, and it's a funky color, so I don't know if I can really read the description. Yeah, I can't read the description, so we'll skip that. That's fine, it doesn't really matter, because I probably didn't quite completely follow the description correctly anyways for some of these awards, and for the most part it seems like they're not written well enough that you could. The thing here that Steam is dropping the ball on is they have a category system. They have games that are tagged action, adventure, point and click, sports, first person shooter. And if they made it in such a way that if you wanted to nominate a game for best sports game and a game was not tagged with sports, then somebody somewhere, the first person that wanted to nominate that game would have to tag that game as a sports game. They could tighten up and improve their algorithm quite a lot by getting it that extra input and causing the end user to add input to their system. And then they could also have people flag things that aren't sports games that are tagged as sports games. So yeah, in the post show we're gonna try and play 3 games of Rogue and get 3 victories. That'll take a while. So we're sitting on both the Americas account and the European account needing a significant number of victories. So this is just going to take all day, which is fine. Like, take the week off. I do want to get back to Rise of the Tomb Raider. I didn't manage to get anything done on Thanksgiving, obviously. But that, and see, I don't even have a trade here, so Mage, Shaman, and victories. Let's see, I could try my Battlecry deck. I think that deck might actually work better. But the way Valve is doing it now, it's just having you pick games, and then the top games that are picked become the nominations of what they eventually pick the victory, or it's just whoever gets nominated the most. There's a lot of confusion, honestly, where they could have slightly improved the explanation before you even started to say this is how this is going to work, and why your vote actually counts, and how this is or isn't just a popularity contest. We've got a Leonardo on the chat saying, hey Leonardo. So the first award at the Steam Awards that I picked is the World is Grim Enough award. Let's all get along, and I chose It'll Do, which is a game that I recently played that's kind of a laid-back, jokey Zelda, the original NES Zelda game, although it's not as long as the original NES Zelda, and that is kind of a shame. And it had some craziness that I'm hoping its sequel improved upon, but it's fun, and it's not super focused on violence. Let's see. Leonardo asks, are you playing in the region of the Americas? Not right now. I'm playing on the Asian account, but in the post show I am going to go back to my main American account and I greet you and try to get more things, more victories, because I have a daily quest for 7 victories on the American account. The Choices Matter award, I chose Dust and Elysian Tale. That's a very appropriate choice. Now, the issue I'm going to have here is I'm not sure I actually played Dust in 2017, so, and I'm not really sure why there's any rules or anything built around the thought that your selection for the 2017 Steam Awards should be based on games you played or just thought of in 2017. If there was an award for my favorite game, it might just be the same game every year. But choices matter if you know the story, particularly at the end of the final reveals of the twists in Dust and Elysian Tale. The Choices Matter award seems very appropriate. The next is the Haunt My Dreams award, which I chose Dead Space 1 because I did play Dead Space 1 this year for Halloween month, and that certainly was probably the most horrific appropriate game to mention. There were scarier games, but there were psychological horror games that have less chance of succeeding. I suppose that I could have picked some. What was the other game I played in Halloween month? The sequel to the Cat Lady that was called Downfall. or Downwell. I think it's called Downfall. I didn't particularly enjoy Downfall as much as I like the Cat Lady. So I guess that's in part why I didn't nominate it. The next award is the Mom Spaghetti Award, which, as I can barely even understand the description of this award, but I think what they wanted you to choose was a game that was really exciting, that turned your legs into spaghetti, like your mother's spaghetti, which is wobbly. I don't get it. I don't fully get why that's the name of the award, but from the description, it's supposed to be pick the most exciting game you picked. So the most exciting action intense game that I played this year that I want to give an award to, I imagine, is Bayonetta, and so that's what I picked. The No Apologies Award, which I believe is games that you like and you refuse to apologize for liking for. And so if I'm understanding that description, my nomination for that is, of course, Honey Pop, the sex dating game, which was actually quite fun. Like, I'm gonna probably continue to mention and talk about Honey Pop for at least another year or two, because it actually works. It's not just a sleazy, cheap sex game like there are so many that aren't worth playing. It actually has a interesting dating mechanic and puzzle matching mechanic when you go on dates with the girls, and it's not that slimy that I find it annoying. The next award is the Cry Havoc and Let Slip the Dogs award. Award. That's a long mouthful. I don't know what the description of this was, per se. But I think, yeah, the description says you're supposed to pick a game that had potential. Which is, I suppose, to inherently imply it had potential, but it didn't live up to to its own potential. Otherwise, it would have succeeded much more. So for that category, I chose Enslaved Odyssey to the West, because that game actually did have potential. It just never went anywhere. By Enslaved being made by Team Ninja, who then moved on to make other games, most recently Hellblade's Susuna's Sacrifice. Now, almost for a joke, I picked BioShock Infinite for the Suspension of Disbelief Award, because BioShock Infinite is a city that's suspended in the sky via magic technology, and there's a ton of stuff in there where you really do have to suspend your disbelief to be in it. So I'm not even a super fan of BioShock Infinite. It's a decent game, but probably not worthy of getting an award, more awards than it already has gotten. But I'm pretty sure I played that this year, and I couldn't think of anything else that needed you to suspend your disbelief. The next award is the Soul of the Vitruvius, which is an award for a game that heavily focuses on character models and has really good looking character models. And for that, I put the game Submerged, because that is a game that actually does have some very good looking character models and almost no game at all. Like, there's barely any gameplay at all, just some climbing and platforming and driving a boat around a very small ocean world. And the game has a few insignificant collectibles. So not a great game, but a game that certainly put a lot of effort in good animation. for the Defies Description Award, I gave it to Darksiders War Mastered Edition because if anything, I would say the Dark Master series does defy description, because the first one is very much a Zelda or Ocarina of Time style game, and then the Darksiders 2 is a completely different style game, and Darksiders 3 seems like it's going to be even slightly more different. So every game in the series was intentionally designed around the concept of being very different styles of games in a quadrilogy of 4 games, which they only made 2 before THQ went out of business, and so now THQ Nordic is making Darksiders 3. In a lot of ways, giving that award is somewhat based around the desire to see Darksiders 3 actually succeed. For the Labor of Love Award, I gave the Vanishing of Ethan Carter, and I think that very much deserves it because it was a major labor of love to make the first game, and then to port the first game over to from Unreal Engine 3 to Unreal Engine 4 and give the Unreal Engine 4 for free to everybody who had owned the previous version. Really shows that you love your game and you want more people to see it in the best light possible, and so that's very much something that I feel like should be rewarded. So yeah, so that's why I gave that one to that. The next award is the Whoa Dude 2.0 award, which is supposed to be a game that makes you say whoa dude, and like you blew my mind or something, or and so I gave that to Life is Strange. Now on Steam that means I gave it to Life is Strange episode 1, but in all honesty it's episode 5 that really has the whoa dude element more than anything, because while in episode 1 of Life is Strange you realize you have the ability to rewind time and you'll be using that throughout all of the story, it's when you enter a nightmare sequence and all the rules change and there's just an insane amount of insanity that happens and turns of events that you just couldn't have possibly seen coming. It was too much, it was too crazy. So I didn't really even like Life is Strange, but I think it deserves that award. And it is worth noting here that there is this element of several of the games that I nominated for the Steam Awards that I don't feel like deserve an award unless it's supposed to be an award for being a bad game. And maybe that would work if the Steam Awards said, choose your best action game you played, choose the worst action game you played. Yeah, that might really do a great thing if everybody picked Battlefront 2 as the worst first-person shooter game, or worst in-game microtransactions. If we gave awards for the worst as well as the best, that might shame some people into doing better next year. And the final award was the write-in category for awards, and so nothing would work better as a joke than to continue my nomination of the Still Playing Award, which was, I believe, an award last year. So I wrote in the Still Playing Award again and chose Time Clickers. And to get one of the badges, you had to write a review or edit a review of a game. And so I edited my review of Time Clickers to say I re-nominated it for the Still Playing Award. And the joke here, of course, is Time Clickers is a game that I have, let's see, I believe it's saying 2,719 hours on record in which I've played time clickers, because I always run time clickers in my background of my computer. I'm trying to get all of the achievements on this clicker game, and it's practically impossible to get the last one.
Nice to meet you.
So, yeah. That's the Steam Awards for the autumn sale. The only other thing they're really doing is that they've made some pictures that don't seem like they do anything. And since I'm not buying any games, like, I don't think you're even getting like cards, trading cards. Like, somebody else would have to say. Let's see. So maybe, but if there was some kind of trading card mechanic with this, it's not being mentioned at all. So there might be some kind of badge or something that
A tactical error.
yeah, usually on sales, if you buy 10 trading cards, they would have said
One shot,
$10 worth of games. They would have given you some trading cards. Alright, so I suppose what I could do is
I hope you
come
like my
over to a
invention.
store. Let's say we'll buy Wolfenstein, the new game, the new Colossus. Add that to the cart. That would be $30. And at this point, for a cart that's $30, it would have said you will earn a certain number of cards. And it doesn't say that, so no trading cards at all. So it's kind of a disappointing sale, honestly. A rather disappointing sale. And let's see. I've got 7 new tweets to look at.
Chill out.
give it a shot.
Spells are fun. So
So let's look at this news, and then I think I'm gonna be done, like, with this stream. Thank you to Leonardo for saying a couple of things, but since we're kind of in lazy mode and Thanksgiving mode, there's not a lot of actual news coming out, and nothing really to talk about. So, and there's also a lot of, what is the word? A lot of victories that are needed.
Think.
And we're about an hour long. So this is another one of those hour and 45-minute long episodes, which fine. Fine with me to do that. For now, at least. I still got plenty of cards.
The sun has
Plenty
set
of
for me.
recordings.
Give it a shot.
spells are fun. So fun.
Literally 1 damage short. So we roughly need about 10 victories. I think 5 on the Americas account, 2 on the European account, and 2 here, which would be 9. This is interesting. He seems to be playing a strategy that
Drink with
I don't
me,
think for
friend.
a second is actually going to work.
Swiftly.
Well, maybe this is going to work.
Smart moves. I concede.
I don't think he played quite right there. He was definitely trying there. So that's one of the 2 victories we need, and we will get the other things done, certainly. Well, that's it for this live stream talking part. Stay tuned for the post show. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.